Digital technologies and media will be important but not crucial. That is because just as traditional broadcast media has no causal connection to election outcomes, globally it would be very hard for us to find evidence that new media or internet technologies very broadly have causal connections to election outcomes. In India, given our particular experience of the internet, given that the internet in India is very different from the internet in developed countries such as Europe and the USA, I think social media perhaps would be a bit more like broadcast media in the Indian context, especially for those users that are coming online for the very first time through subsidized services that over-the-top companies are providing to users via telcos. It is because social media in India is still mostly used by elites, and most of these elites are also opinion leaders. If you refine your understanding of how networks work and how the law of 6 degrees of separation actually works, you will realize that not all nodes on a network have equal number of connections. Some nodes have a significantly higher number of connections than others, and those nodes are very important. Political parties know that all the important journalists in print or television are on Twitter, and that what they see on Twitter influences the way they think. Therefore, what political parties want to do is reach out to those opinion leaders. They're not trying to directly target the electorate through their campaigns on the internet and social media. They're trying to target elites, the middle class, and opinion leaders. The manner in which people consume news is changing. I can give you a personal anecdote. I use Twitter mostly as a bookmarking service. I read news pages and then copy the links onto my Twitter feed. Often when a particular tweet of mine gets retweeted several times, then I go back to check and actually read that news item. So whether people are consuming online news purely in headline format, or whether they're poring over every sentence, to what degree they take into consideration comments made below that particular news item on that portal itself, or to what degree they take seriously the comments made on social media. All of this has to be researched. The news consumption practices are definitely changing quite significantly. The way they interact and provide comments also needs to be looked at more carefully. The classic understanding is that this is the network public sphere in an Habermasian sense. People are discussing the news in the comment section. That may not be as simple as that. Some people are obviously in it just for the trolling, and that's because they feel emboldened by the anonymity that the internet affords. Other actors are there because they're being paid. Social media gurus and search engine optimization companies are placing comments and tweeting and circulating content on social media because they're paid to do that. And still others are looking at this purely for comic value. So it isn't the network public sphere as we traditionally want to think about it. What this means to the credibility of news and what this would finally imply for the whole production cycle of news, this we still don't know, but things are changing quite rapidly. The internet has also changed dramatically over the last 15 years. It used to be the case that the internet was a decentralized network where everybody was hopeful that it would have democratizing potential, and therefore techno-utopianism was born. Today, it is increasingly clear that the power law is observed on the internet. A small proportion of websites have 90% of the traffic, and then we have a long tail. So large corporations like Google and Facebook and Twitter play a significant role in configuring the attention economy. They are now also beginning to take this role very seriously themselves. In the case of Google, and in order to support and serve public interest, they launched a public campaign on their search engine homepage to stop SOPA and PIPA in the US. And that was good for internet freedoms across the world. But increasingly, Google is using its power over the attention economy to perhaps determine or influence electoral outcomes in India. They have been holding hangouts, and what they are able to do is bring the audiences to the politicians, and they are quite openly taking advantage of this power that they wield. Other actors like Facebook, Twitter, through their walled garden arrangements with telcos, also play similar role in configuring the attention economy. They do it two ways. One, in a much more tacit fashion, through the way in which their algorithms are configured and what shows up on your Facebook feed and what shows up as a sponsored tweet. And secondly, much more explicitly, by deciding who is featured on a hangout.